Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, December 26th. It is 6:22 right now. Market's going to open in about 8 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a few things here to update, and we should be good to go. All right, looks like we are good to go here. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, cool. So I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in, and I'll start marking up liquidity real quick. All right. Good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, December 26th. Hopefully everyone had a Merry Christmas. It is 6:24 right now, so market's going to open in about 6 minutes. I'll start marking up liquidity here as people continue to make their way in. I'm down to the 8 hour. We'll see how volatility moves today, coming back from this Christmas break. All right, looks like we are good to go. So, all right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, December 26th. Hopefully everyone had a Merry Christmas. 6:26 right now. We have market opening up in about 4 minutes. I've marked up liquidity over here. Closest level of liquidity above is at 43,503. Closest level below is at 43,462. So prices in between right here. ATR is currently at 9 ATR, so the volatility is very low. As you guys know, today is the day after Christmas. So volatility may be a bit slower today than usual. It may be a bit slower for the rest of the week, actually. So we'll kind of see where market goes here. As you guys can see, there's liquidity sitting on both ends because the volatility has been pretty slow. Price can really go in either direction. We'll know the direction of the breakout shortly in about 2 minutes. 6:27 right now, so we'll know the direction of the breakout in about 2 minutes once we get to that final minute before market open. Just a heads up, guys. So I did mark up the breakout yesterday on, was it Tuesday, Christmas Eve? I didn't take the breakout. I didn't trade it all on Tuesday, but I did mark up the breakout so that we can identify which direction or if it's been continuous. After marking up the breakout on Tuesday, the breakout did not hit, of course, because the volatility was very low. So for today, I'm not going to be taking the breakout entry. I will be taking it on a sim account just so that I can have it documented and I can record how it moves. But I'm not going to be taking it on my hedge accounts, and I'm also not taking it on my personal account. So I just want to keep that in mind so that you guys understand that I'm not taking the trade today for the breakout. I'm taking it on a sim account so that I can have everything recorded. What I've been doing now lately is I'm just recording everything that I'm taking. I'm recording all the laptops. I'm recording this live session. I'm recording everything so that I can go back and review these trades at a future date. So again, I'll try to remind you guys in a minute or so, but it seems like majority of you guys are here so far. So for today, I'm not going to be taking the breakout. Reason for not taking the breakout is because the breakout has had two back-to-back losses if we include Tuesday. Tuesday was Christmas Eve. Volatility is very low, but I still recorded the trade because we need to have that in our documentation. But as you guys know from our risk off plan, if there's ever two back-to-back losses, I don't take the breakout until we have a win. So for today, I'm going to be recording it. I'll be taking it on the sim account. So you'll hear my laptop execute the trade, but I will not be taking it on my personal account and I will not be taking it on the hedge accounts. So the trade's not going to be taken, but it looks like the breakout for today is going to be a buy. All right. So breakout for today is going to be a buy. Again, guys, if you guys are just joining in, I just mentioned that I'm not taking breakout for today. I'm using the trailing stop on this. I'll be using it on a sim account just to record the trade. But the breakout for today is going to be a buy. I'll have my trailing stop at the 50-point mark just to kind of lock in position, and then we'll go from there. So guys, just another reminder, I'm not taking the breakout, but the breakout for today is going to be a buy. All right, so breakout for today is going to be a buy, guys. Market's opening up in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Market is now open. There goes a breakout right there for the buy. Let this run for a bit. See where that 50-point mark is at. So when price reaches the 50-point mark, stop loss is supposed to get moved in profit. Price is pushing up from here. Position is up about 35 to 40 points so far. We are almost at that 50-point mark. There we go. We're at the 50-point mark right there. Still pushing. Volatility here is not as high as usual. You can see the liquidity here got hit. Price is still pushing up. Stop loss got moved in profit right there. 50 points. Still pushing a bit higher. Price is up about, and we're out right there. So the trade's still running, guys. but got stopped out at the 50-point mark. Because my entry over here was a little delayed, actually got out a little more. So here goes the breakout, still currently running right now. And we'll see where this ends up going from here. Let's go back to our main chart here. There's no other entries for us to take here at the moment. I'll be looking for some scalps, of course. We do have sessions kind of sitting all over the place. So if you guys take liquidity over here, there's liquidity from the bottom, there's liquidity from right here, and there's liquidity from here. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels of liquidity that got hit. For my breakout for the day, got hit at 50 points over here, maybe a little higher, but around 50 points. I've been moving the trailing stop in profit because of the, obviously you guys can see from the volatility here. Volatility is decent, but it's not super continuous. So here we go. As price decides to trickle its way back down. So let's go to the clean chart over here. I'll mark up some zones. If you guys are still in the breakout's still currently running, but as you can see, the breakout on my end was stopped out in profit at 50 points. So we'll come back and take a look at this a little later here. I'll put an alert there at the 100-point mark. Probably gonna keep pushing up. But I'm now going to clean this up here as I look for some possible scalps. So there's a break and retest of liquidity zone right here. You can see price pushed up, retraced, bounced off it, came back up. The only problem here is that we're right at this session. So it's a little bit of a tricky entry right now. This price did come down and touch the sessions below, and there is also a sessions above right here. So as you guys know, that's a red flag for me. Not really looking to take any trades around this middle area. Here is the clean chart. So looking at the clean chart right now, you can see price is kind of just ranging in between the 550 and the 500 mark right here. Going back and forth between this area. Price pushed up, faked out, came back down. Now consolidating within this middle area right here. Let's go to the SR chart. All right, so price is pretty much ranging between these two zones over here on the SR chart. I'll see if there's a lower zone here to mark up. Big zone right here. So here goes the support resistance charts. As you guys can see, price is kind of just sitting between these two zones over here as well, between this big zone right here, which is the 1-minute support, and the big zone up here, which is the 1-minute resistance. You can see price is bouncing in between. It's very similar to the session levels over here. So sessions and the levels are pretty much ranging around the same area. As you can see over here on the main chart, price is pretty much ranging between the session up here, which is the London high, and the session below here, which is the Asia low. So it's kind of just going back and forth right now. Here is the breakout entry. It's still running in profit, guys. So if you guys want to hold on to it, feel free. I got out right here at the 50-point mark. I'll put this right here so you guys can see. Let's abbreviate this. There. All right, so there's no scalps here yet, guys. I'm looking for some scalps, but there's just no scalps to take right now at the moment. There's a possible V2 variation right here. So I was looking back at the V2 variations, guys. The V2 variation is actually pretty good, if you guys remember the strategy. So the way that the strategy works for the V2 variation, I mean, maybe not around this area because there's a sessions, but this is a pattern of the V2 variation. You guys already know the V1 variation. It's very simple. It's basically two body or wick rejections. For the V2 variation, you're looking for price to come down. So let me just clean this, or you guys can still see it. So you guys can see how price is coming down right here. There's two red candles, and then it establishes a low, right? Then it's followed by a green candle, and this is a V2 variation. So I mean, technically, the trade could have been taken right here. I've been reviewing the older strategies that we haven't applied in a long time. You know, there's three main, there's three main variation strategies. There's a V1 variation where it's a double body, double wick rejection. There's a V2 variation where there's a basically you're looking for this pattern right here. If price is coming down and you're looking for a low, you're looking for a red candle, a red low, followed by a green candle. It's very similar to the 3-bar reversal that people apply for the price action. It's basic price action, but we call it the V2 variation because we use a high-low indicator. And it's you're basically identifying like a loop. Like, let me see if I could find there's a tool here that we used to use to draw it. I think it was, yeah, it was a curve. So you're looking for this type of move. You're looking for a smooth loop to the upside like this. So this right here is a pattern of a V2 variation. When you get it off liquidity like this, it's usually a pretty smooth push to the upside. Similar pattern happened right here. You can see how price came down. We had a red candle, it was a low, and then a green candle following it. So same thing right here again. It's a reversal pattern. Red candle, lower low, green candle, and then this is where the buy would have been taken. Obviously, I wouldn't take it right here against the trend, but this is the pattern. So if you guys haven't revisited that strategy, I'll try to make a video for that in the future, but I've been looking at it. You know, there's like time periods where V1 variations, like the variation strategies, are like my favorite type of strategies. And it's kind of like right now. This is a time where I actually really like those types of entries because since we're in a choppy market, which goes back and forth, like you can see how price here is currently ranging, right? The V1 variations are actually really good strategies to take off structure. So like, for example, here, like I said, we had a V2 variation where price came down. You could have taken this if it wasn't at the session. So if there was no sessions right here, no purple line, this would have been a good entry right there for a buy, right? For a 1-to-1, 30-30. And then your trailing stop could have been moved in profit as well. So if I see them, I'll identify them and I'll call them out. I'm not personally looking for them specifically. I'm looking for V1 variations off structure like liquidity, but the V2 variations are very good. The V3 variations are the same thing, but they're just a lot simpler. So you're basically just looking for a lower low like this. You're not looking for the previous candle. This is why it goes in progressions. So the V1 is like harder to see. You don't see it as often because they need to be same body or same wick. The V2 variation, you see a little more often because you can see how the loops happen right here for reversals. And the V3 variations are very simple. It's basically just bottom red and then green candle. So instead of having 3 of these candles, instead of a 3-bar reversal, it's a 2-bar reversal. So they kind of go in progression from I guess most accurate to least accurate. And there's basically 3 different variations: V1 variation, V2 variation, and V3 variation. This again was a V3 variation, but again, it was at the sessions. So it's considered a red flag, not a trade that I would specifically take. All right, so the breakout's still running, guys. It's back at the 50-point mark, as you guys can see right here. I mean, we'll keep following it. It's still running right now. This might line up with a Looks like it might line up with a breakout V3. So if you get a buy signal that's followed by a green candle, it could be a possible breakout V3 entry. The only problem here is that we do have the sessions right here at the London high. So I'm not looking to take any scalps around this area right here. I'm looking for price to push above. So what I want to see happen here for me to take some entries for scalps is I need price to push up, and then I'll look for some entries around this area up here. Or so looking down right here, I mean, there's still possibility for entry. So price is kind of sitting around this lower area. It's currently ranging. If we get a V1 variation off the structure right here, there's a possibility that we can take an entry. The only problem is that I don't like trading in the sideways market right here, right? You know, one of the other main strategies that we like to apply is the market flow V2. But again, the market is not flowing right now. You can see prices going sideways. In order for us to take these market flow V2 entries, we need price to be climbing, or we need price to be dropping. Again, today's the day after Christmas, so the volatility here is a bit low. That's pretty normal. But again, we're just gonna wait for, you know, something here to come up. I'm not gonna force any trades here. 6:43, so we still have like about an hour of market like left, a little over an hour. So I'm not gonna force anything here. I'm gonna wait for price here to pick up a little bit. Once it picks up, I'll start looking for entries. Looking at the market from today, we had news at 5:30. It was initial jobless claims, continuing jobless claims, and the 4-week average. It was mixed news at 5:30. So let me go ahead and just mark that up at 5:30. I don't think there was much of a market reaction here. There's a little spike, but not a huge market reaction right there. So that we have that marked up as news price. Looking over here, we have there's low impact news coming in for the rest of the day. You know, money supply, 17 bill auction. Nothing that's really of importance. Tomorrow we have high impact news again. So the news is good because the news causes volatility in the market, and it allows us to have some sort of catalyst to push price around. But you can see over here, price is not really doing too much. Let's take a look at the retail sentiment right now. Retail sentiment is currently 56% long. This indicates that 56% of retail traders are currently buying right now. It's not very one-sided. You typically want to see this around the 65 to 70% mark. I'm not sure if this is very accurate, but I think it is somewhat accurate. Sometimes this number here gets frozen, but I've been updating it pretty much every day to see if it's been updating. And right now it shows you that 56% of traders who are trading not just YM, but US30 are currently 56% long. So we'll see what happens here. We have a buy signal again currently pending. Like I said, this could be setting up for a breakout V3 or a breakout V3 continuation. The only problem is that if you try to take an entry right there, you're going to have to cut through the sessions, which is going to be a problem, right? Because manipulation tends to happen right here at the sessions. So I'm not really going to be looking for entries over here. I'll follow it and we'll look through. But again, I'm not looking to take anything here specifically. The breakout's still currently running. This trade should have hit already, but it's still currently running in profit. I'm out of this position here. Got out at 50 points because my trailing stop pretty much moved up when price pushed up right there. But you know, we'll continue to follow it here. Or here, this is what I'll do. I'll just take a screenshot of this real quick. And then I'll screenshot the profits as well. Show you guys where the exit was made. So I didn't take this trade on my actual account. Like I said, we're waiting for a win to happen. Once the win happens, I'll start taking the trades. But right now, so if today wins, I'll take it tomorrow. But as of now, it's not going to be there. So we just got to wait for this trade here to play through. All right. So let me just put a little update over here for the trade. So the full move is still pending right now. All right, so it's still pushing right there. So I'm hoping this trade wins. If this trade does win, I'll be taking the trade tomorrow on the other accounts. All right, so it's still running right now. On its way up. So again, there's a possible breakout V3 coming up right here. It's right at the session, so it's not a trade I would specifically take, but this is a breakout V3 pattern. If this candle does close green, candle has to close green. If it doesn't, then there's no entry there. But if it does, there is an entry there for a breakout V3. I wouldn't take it. This is considered red flag for me. A lot of manipulation happens around this area, of course, where the sessions are currently at. Okay, so no green candle there. There's a V1 variation pattern. So there's a double body rejection right here. It's rejecting off the sessions. So price may come down a little bit. But anyways, here are the profits from that trade. So like I said, partial TP over here at the 50-point mark. I got out right there, locking 1,620. I didn't take this on my personal hedge accounts because I'm following the risk off plan. If this trade does hit today, I will be looking for the I will be taking the breakout tomorrow on all of the hedge accounts in my personal account. It's on its way up right now, almost to its full TP. There we go, as we get closer to the target. Still no scalps here for me to take. Go back to our clean chart. So price is pushing up a little bit higher. And there we go again with another fake out as price continues to drop right back below. So looking at this over here from the clean chart, there's still no change here. As you guys can see, price is still ranging between the 550 and the 500 right here. It's going back and forth. Fake out right there, pull back into the range. Nice push up, but not quite where it needed to be. I'll mark up opening price, which is right here. As you can see over here, price is having trouble getting past the session. This again is another example of why I don't trade at the sessions, right? I mean, you can trade at the sessions if you like, but this isn't a good area to be trading in because you can see how manipulation happens around this area. There's a whole reason why I created this whole indicator, so I don't trade around these specific price points. So I'm still going to keep looking at squeezing some scalps. My cutoff for entries are typically around 730. So when the volatility starts to get really, really flat, that's when I stop looking for entries. Obviously, right now, price has been consolidating for a little bit. So I know a lot of you guys, well, not a lot of you guys, I know some of you guys here like to follow what people consider the AMD pattern, basically accumulation, manipulation, distribution. I don't follow it at all, but you can see over here that it wouldn't have really played out because price hasn't really been distributing, right? We had accumulation right here, price pushed up. This would be considered like manipulation. There hasn't been a distribution phase. That's why I don't typically like following that. As you guys know, I look at the market transition. So looking at my market transitions right here, so market structure transitions, you can see price here is consolidating and going sideways. From going sideways, it'll go into a breakout or directional, right? Price went sideways, it broke out right here. From breakout, where does it go? From breakout to directional or sideways. So price went sideways into breakout, back into sideways. So right here, the next thing that will likely happen is either price is going to break out again or it's going to go directional. So once price is done going back and forth within this area, eventually it will either break out above or break out below. We don't have either one here yet, but that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for price to break out and then push in that direction. So we will continue to wait here. Here we go. As price comes back down. It's now at the lower sessions right here, the Asia low. Like I said, this is why I don't trade around this area. See how price just gets manipulated back and forth? Manipulation up, push down, manipulation from the sessions, push back up, manipulation from the sessions, and then back down to the sessions right here. And price is pushed back down to the opening price below. I'm looking for price to just get out of this area. I don't want to trade within this middle area right here. So if price climbs down, that's completely fine. Price can come down, and I can look for some entries down here. The next problem is that we have opening price here, right? So it's kind of like a back and forth. So again, this is another area of manipulation. So basically, if you look at the charts here, I don't trade at any of these lines that go horizontal. So from the left end of the screen to the right end of the screen, any of these dotted lines, this dotted purple line, I don't trade there. That's the Asia high low. This red line right here, I don't trade there. That's the London high low. You can see how the manipulation happens whenever price touches these areas. The other area I don't trade in is the blue dotted line, right? The blue dotted line is opening price. This is where price tends to fly back to as a magnet. You can see how price pushed away from it. Then the magnet pulled it back down to the opening price. And then here, we now wait for this to either push away from it, back up, or break below and come below it. So if price does come below, I'll be looking for some entries down here. But again, I'm not looking for any entries at any of these horizontal lines. This pink line right here is news price from this morning. This was 5:30 impact news. Another red flag. And if you just focus on these areas here, you can see how the manipulation plays through, right? It's the same pattern every time. Look at the fake out. Fake out, pull back down. Fake out, see how the green candle pushes up, comes down super sharp. Green candle comes up, red candle super sharp. Red candle right here, fakes out. Red candle, sharp push to the upside for rejection. The same pattern almost every time. I say almost every time because it's not always the case. Sometimes price will break below and will continue dropping. But probably 90% of the time, you're going to see this little pattern. Sharp push, reversal, sharp push, reversal, etc. You can trade those. So if you really want to trade those, you can. But for me personally, it's not the type of pattern that I personally look for. This is a V2 variation right here. So let's look at the liquidity. There was a zone here. So I was just talking about this earlier. We haven't looked at the V2 variation maybe like a year or 2 years. It's been a while since we looked at it. The reason why we stopped looking at it because it just became too much of a chore, I guess, because when you're looking at the V2, V1, V3 variations, you really have to just focus on one of them, right? It's really hard to look at a lot of them because of the I took off the high-low indicator. Sorry, guys. Let me put that back on. I don't even know when I took it off. Accidentally removed it. I was like wondering where the high-low went. There we go. So this right here is a V2, or actually it's not. I take that back. This green candle was lower. It looked like it. So we had two red candles, but the low would have to be on this red candle right here and have to reverse back to the upside. If I see that pattern, I will let you guys know. But again, it doesn't come up very often. So when I see it, I will make it obvious. Let me bring this to the top. Main set is a V3 coming up. So there could be a possible breakout V3 continuation coming up right here, guys, or just a normal breakout V3. So it'd be a breakout V3 and a breakout V3 continuation because it hasn't came up yet so far. It is pending right now. So yeah, man, right now we currently have a buy signal. If this buy signal closes, it's got to be a valid buy signal though. So a green buy signal with a green, basically a green candle within the buy signal followed by a green candle after it. That's gonna be a breakout V3 continuation. Like this pattern right here. See how we got a buy signal followed by a green candle, and it shot up to the upside. Hasn't came up yet, but it could be setting up right here. The only problem here is that we're at all these red flags again. So we have the London high right here. The only thing that I would like be ideal about if this does come up is that the breakout's still running. So, I mean, we still haven't hit that 100-point mark right there, right? So it's on its way up still. It's not there yet, but it's almost on its way up there. So if we do get that breakout V3 pattern, that could be the push that we need to get to the 100 points. I mean, it's almost there. It's not there yet, but it's almost there. So again, Jermaine, you're just looking for this here to close red. I mean, sorry, not red, green. You're looking for this buy signal here to close green. It's got about 20 seconds left on it. It's got a lot of time. But if it does close and it's followed by a green candle, it's on its way up. Breakout's on its way to full TP. And there we go, full TP for 100 points, guys. So since this breakout today hit, I will be taking the breakout tomorrow on my personal account and the hedge accounts. An update over here. So here are the profits that I made on that over there as well. So here, I'll just edit this. It's no longer a partial, it's a full TP. I'll put this over here, partial, initially hit 4 points, later, full TP. Just putting notes here. Okay, so it was a full TP on the momentum breakout on open. It took a while for it to hit, but eventually did hit, as you guys can see right here. I got out at the 50-point mark. So price pushed up right here. When it got to the 50 points, my stop loss got moved in profit. And that's where these profits came from right here. I didn't take it on my personal or hedge accounts. You can see this is the profits over here. This is my personal account. So I'm up about a 779 on this account. And then this is my sim account. I just took it so that I can record the trade. What I'm doing now is I'm recording every trade that I take so I can go back and review it if necessary on my laptops. So these are the profits that I locked in on it. Of course, it locked in about half. It was supposed to lock in 3,000, but because my stop loss got moved in profit at 50, I got out at 1,620. So 1,620 right here. It's supposed to be 3,000, but that's how much I locked in. And there goes the trade. So full TP on the breakout here, guys. I will be taking the breakout tomorrow. This here is just we're getting off the risk off plan, and it'll be following the next entry here as price continues to push along. I'm looking for some scalps here still. So looks like we're starting to get some volatility. And we'll see what happens next. Let's see. Max is asking, do you know what the flipping rules are for Apex? How many days are allowed to flip now? Um, so the flipping works. I mean, you'd have to have a 1 day pass though, Max, to do the flipping. Because the thing is, if you try to flip the account, you still need to trade, I think, 5 or 10 days to pass it. If the 1 day pass is not in effect. So I don't think it's an issue, but I don't think that like because you still have to trade like 5 more days, right? I guess you can take it for like one contract, but I don't know if that would work. Oh, you're talking about PA. Okay, so for the PA, yeah, I'm not sure what the rules are for the PA. For the eval phase though, yeah, it's okay. But for the PA, you would still have to trade like 10 days. So you're gonna hit the consistency rule. So I don't think you could really flip. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah, if you're still within the 30%, then you're good. You just have to keep trading and then stay within that 30%. So you can't keep locking in like smaller profits. You got to lock in like something close to like what you've been locking in on the other days. They just kind of have to balance out. And if it doesn't balance out, you just got to keep trading until it does balance out. So they're not going to take your profits away, but they're not going to let you request a payout. Yeah, Max said this market has sucked even with the news. I've been getting whipped out when trying to flip accounts. Yeah, no, and I agree with you too, Max. You know, this whole market for December and November has been not so great, right? I haven't taken that many trades on my accounts either. I think for the month of December, I've probably taken about like 6 trades, and that's for the whole month. And that's the reason why I have to switch my all my prop accounts to scalping because so I got flagged on Tradeify. Tradeify requires that you trade at least one trade per week to keep it active. I didn't trade for like over a week last week for the breakout. And I got in trouble for that because they'll close your account. So with a lot of these prop accounts, you got to take at least like one trade per week, and that's why I'm taking scalps on them now. For the breakout, I'm only trading it on my personal and the hedge accounts. All of my other accounts are strictly for scalping. So let me turn off my hedge laptop, guys. I know I'm pretty much done trading on this account here. So,
Recording stopped.
so I'm recording on like every single laptop now. I have a lot of laptops here. One for the breakout, one for the scalps. Yeah, I'm pretty much recording on all these here so that I can review the trades in the future if necessary. It's not super necessary, but specifically for the breakout and specifically for, the scalps. So I'm shutting down my breakout laptop, my hedge laptop, because I'm done taking the breakout for the day. The breakout hit full TP. So if you guys are just joining in, the breakout did hit full TP over here. It took a while for it to hit, but eventually did hit. I got out at the 50-point mark. Initially, price pushed up about 70 points, retraced back down. My stop loss got moved in profit, so I got out right there. And then price kind of went back and forth for a bit before it pushed up to the full TP for 100 points. Since this here did hit full TP, I will be looking to take the breakout tomorrow for Friday. I'm off the risk off plan. Initially, risk off plan is if you have 2 back-to-back losses, you don't take any breakouts until the next one hits. So I will be looking to take the Friday one. Let's go back to our main chart over here. Let's see. So question from Max. Max is asking, how is the market during January? Will be a year of trading in March? So January is pretty good, actually. The volatility starts to pick up in January. So we're a week away from January. Plus Trump is going to be back in house. So I'm just kind of just weathering the storm through December right now. And then once the market has, obviously picked back up next month, I will be looking to take more entries. Right now, obviously, I'm just kind of taking it easy. I'm in a lot of groups and I've seen a lot of people blow accounts in December and November because they're trying to force some trades here. As you guys can see, there's not really much of a direction. Let's go to our clean chart. Over here, it's even more clear that there's just not very much direction. Price is just whipsawing back and forth. We had a lot of consolidation range right here. Price manipulated right here, then it pushed up for a directional push. And then now it's back into a sideways market, right? So let's go over here real quick, and I want to show you guys exactly the market transitions that happen. Market structure transitions. So let me get the box. So I'll kind of show you guys what happened here. So right here, there was a sideways move, right? So market was sideways right here. Then what happened right here? Price broke out, right? So it went from sideways to breakout. Then what happened here? Price went sideways again, right? It's another sideways market. So again, price went sideways, and then what happened right here? Price broke out, right? And then what happened after this breakout? So after breakout, price will go directional or it'll go sideways again. Right here, price broke out, and then it went directional, right? So you guys can see the structure transitions here. I mean, it's pretty basic. Like, I feel like a lot of people want to overcomplicate it and say like specific things are happening, but this is typically what happens. You know, price will break out, go directional, break out, go sideways. Right here, what's happening again? Price is now going sideways, right? So what's going to happen after this sideways move? After sideways, price breaks out or it goes directional. So that's what to look out for here. As price breaks out of this area, you look for price to push above, continue to the upside, look for price to push below, continue to the downside. Doesn't really matter which direction price goes, it's going to break out or it's going to move directional. So what you do here is you just follow this as it goes sideways. And then eventually, once it actually breaks out, you're like, okay, once it breaks out, what's going to happen next? It's either going to be directional or it's going to be sideways. So if you can, so this is where your starting point should always be, guys. Whenever you guys are looking for entries, this should be your starting point. Look for what the market structure is telling you. And then once you can see here, it's starting to break out, right? It's going to the downside. So as it breaks out right here and it goes to the downside, it needs to be actually like an actual breakout. It needs to push down pretty far to this area right here. Once it gets down to this area, that's where you start to make your moves. You're like, okay, if price continues to drop lower, then it goes directional. You can take some sells from there. But if it doesn't, and price ends up just pulling right back in and going sideways, then it's not time to take entries, right? Because I don't try to take trades during sideways entries. I only try to take trades during breakout to directional, sideways to breakout, sideways to directional, and that's about it. These three patterns right here. So since price is sideways, what am I looking for? I'm looking for the breakout or I'm looking for a directional push. If price breaks out, I'm looking for a directional push. I don't want price to go back sideways. Price here still hasn't pushed below, and it's still going sideways right now. So I'll clean this up right here, take this out of the way. It's really about being patient, guys. I mean, a lot of people are just not patient to wait for these setups to happen. And that's why a lot of people get caught in this mess, right? I mean, it's a very common thing for a lot of people. Also right here, it's at the session. So I wouldn't even mess with it because it's an area of manipulation. See, Jermaine's asking, how many times can the breakout V3 happen in the morning? The continuation can happen as many times as possible. For just the breakout, it's supposed to happen only once a day. Every breakout is just once a day. I mean, so like the momentum breakout that we took this morning, this is once a day, right? Because it typically doesn't move another 100 points or another big push at all. You can see right here, price hit the target, and now it's coming back down, right? The move has already happened for today or for this specific trade. So breakout V2, breakout V3, those only happen once a day. The breakout V3 still hasn't happened yet, so it can still happen. The cutoff for the breakout V3 is 8 o'clock though. So if it doesn't happen by the time of this live session, then there's no breakout for today. The breakout V3 continuation can happen as many times a day though. And that's why it's called a continuation, because you're not going for that full 100 points, right? Because you're not looking for a 100-point move like multiple times during the day. You're looking for it like once a day. If you're taking the breakout V3 continuation, which is a smaller 30-point move, 30 to 10-point move, then this can happen more than once. So breakout V3 continuation can happen all throughout the day. The actual breakout only happens once a day. It's like any other breakout. The volatility only comes in like once a day. That's why I look for the entry right here between 6:30 and 7. Usually once 7 o'clock hits, market starts to go sideways. I mean, it's been going sideways since open, but at least the sideways here is moving directional. So there's a big volatility push around this area. But you can see that now that we're getting closer to 7:30, right, between 7 o'clock and 7:30 right here, I'll just mark it up for you to see. Between this period, I usually don't take entries here because the volatility dies out and it just goes in a small consolidation zone. This just happens every day. If you watch the market every day, this is usually what happens around this time period. It doesn't happen every day. Like there's going to be most days it's going to be like this, but there's going to be some days where it'll be kind of sideways initially, and then it'll pick up a little later, right? You've seen that happen like last week. Right now, you can see this is like a traditional day where price kind of moves between 6:30 and 7, first 30 minutes of market open, and then the 30 minutes after it goes kind of sideways for a bit. And it usually stays this way until like 8 o'clock. That's why my window for trading before used to be between 6:40 and 7, right? This is where I would take all my scalps, because this is where the most of the volatility happened. But right now, I mean, this is just, it's the day after Christmas. So you guys got to keep that in mind too. Today's the day after Christmas. Not everybody's in the market. You know, some people are taking the rest of the week off. So we might not see any volatility today. Historically, from Christmas until New Year's is like the slowest time of the market from what I've seen. You know, I've been trading live every day with you guys for about 8 years now. If you go back and review any of our Christmas or right after Christmas markets, it's usually pretty slow. It's usually like this. I usually don't even trade on these days, but because, you know, we have to kind of adapt with the market, I still trade on days that, you know, I typically wouldn't trade on. Christmas Eve was different though. Christmas Eve, I for sure wouldn't trade on that day because it's like right before Christmas. But between Christmas and New Year's Day, usually I have like no trades come in during this time. And you can see right here, there's just no trades for us to take anyways. These candles are really flat. They are super flat from this point. Let's see. Second part of Jermaine's question is, and can we still take it if it was in the opposite direction? Like if we got a sell signal followed by a sell candle, still take it regardless of the time? For the original break, so yeah, short answer to your question is yes. The breakout you can take in either direction. It doesn't matter which direction you take it, but for the continuation, you take it in the direction of the trend. So that's why they're like slightly different. The continuation is more of a scalp entry, so you want to take it in the direction of the trend. If price is trending up right here, you obviously want to look for the buy, right? But if you're taking it as a regular breakout, it doesn't matter which direction it goes because you're looking for that breakout direction. Like for example here, see how the breakout direction came up? And there was a breakout V3 continuing or regular breakout V3 right here. It was just before market open. So for the regular breakout, you can take it in either direction. There's no need for trend. There's no need for anything. It's same with the regular breakout. All the breakout entries, we don't use trend. We don't use any of that. We just look for the direction of price or the direction of momentum. We had a bullish momentum here. That's why we took it. We didn't incorporate trend. We didn't incorporate structure. We didn't incorporate red flags, none of that stuff. The breakout is supposed to break out. So for the regular breakout, yeah. But for the continuation, any of the scalps, you would have to trade in the direction of the trend. And that's what makes them different. Let's see. Max said January sounds perfect for liquidity pushes. Yeah, no, exactly. It does. The liquidity pushes from this morning were pretty nice too. So there was about like 7 entries that came up. There was like one right here, one right here, one right here, and there's like 2 more up here. The only problem is that they were right at the session. So it's not really one that I would take, right? A lot of the scalp entries here, I skip them because of the sessions here. Basically, any of these horizontal lines, if they touch, I don't really mess with them. So what I'm looking for here right now, guys, is I'm looking for a possible V1 variation or even a V2 variation. So I need price to push up a little further. Retrace. And provide me the reversal pattern right here off the structure without touching the sessions down below. Right? The reason why I'm looking for a V1 variation here is because we currently have a pending buy signal. We have a sell signal right here, so the next signal has to be a buy signal. So I'm looking for a rejection off the structure right here. I want price to kind of push up a little bit, come back down, bounce off the structure, and push right back up. I'm not going to force any trades here, but if I do see something that looks good like that and I feel good about it, I will take it. You can see here that price is going sideways. This is a bad sign. Like I said before, looking at the market transitions, I don't try to trade when the market's going sideways like this. I'll just leave this up so I can keep showing you guys. So I don't try to trade in a sideways market like this. I'll trade when it breaks out. So like I'll go from a sideways into a breakout. I'll go from a sideways into directional. But I don't want to trade when price is just going sideways like this right now. It's not a good area to be trading in, right? Because you can get caught on either side. Like if you try to take bias right here off the lower point, you can easily just get stopped out real quick and then it'll swing back up. I mean, you can get lucky and price can bounce directly off it, but for the most part, this is where a lot of people get faked out, trading within the range. So still no V1 variation here. No V2, no V3, no V1, no nothing here. The ATR is starting to die down a little bit. You can see the volatility here is getting really low. 17 ATR. Typically, if it goes below 15, I usually don't try to take any trades around that point because this just means that market's going to be super flat. But again, if you guys are just joining, the breakout did hit for today. This is the only trade that we took and we identified. Here are the profits from that trade that I took earlier. I got out of partial because when price pushed up to the 50-point mark, stop loss got moved in profit to the 50. And that's where I locked in the 1,620 right here. I haven't taken any scalps. I'm still looking for some scalps here, but there's just no scalps to take at the moment. All right, I think my hedge laptop is done converting the video. All right, perfect. I'm gonna close down my hedge laptop. It's there. Still nothing going on here, guys. Price still going sideways right here. Clean chart. So again, I'm just looking for this to break out of this area. So we're currently in a sideways market. I'm looking for it to either break out or move directional. There's only two options here that can happen from a sideways market. It's either going to break out or it's going to move directional. Either one I'm fine with, but I need price to break out of this area first before I can start looking for entries. Here's the clean chart. Price is currently at the, this is the 1 hour resistance. Bring this up a little bit. All right, so you can see where price is currently consolidating for the SR. These are the support and resistance zones. So 1 minute resistance, 1 minute support. You can see our price going back and forth. As you can see over here, I do a multiple analysis. So I do analysis on like different types of things that people look for. Here's the SR chart. So support and resistance. If you are a support and resistance trader, you can see price is consolidating within the 1 minute support and resistance. Here's the clean chart. This is just with basically psychological levels, the whole numbers. You can see price is currently consolidating between the 43,600 and the 43,550. So it's a 50-point range right here, and it's currently within a consolidation within the range. So this is the range within those two price points. If you just like trading on a clean chart, this is what you'd be looking at, just looking at the price levels. Here's my main chart. It's a little messy over here, but you can see a lot more on here. So you can see where price is actually bouncing off of. Price is bouncing off of the London high. So this is the high price from London of yesterday. I mean, price is kind of just sitting around this area. There's a breakout V3 continuation that's starting to set up right here. So Jermaine, this is the entry that you were looking for. The only thing with this here is that I don't really feel comfortable taking it myself because it's currently within this consolidation range. If price breaks past this area, then I would be more inclined to want to take it. But because price is currently within this consolidation range, I mean, personally, I'm not looking to take the trade here. If you want to take it, feel free. I'll mark it up for you right here. This is the trade you've been waiting for pretty much all morning. Again, I'm not going to take it. I'll follow it for you, but I'm not going to take it. If it breaks past this area, I'd be okay with taking it, but it's a little too tight right now. So price looks like it might break out of that area, go into a breakout. Looks like now it's faking out a little bit. Okay, so if you wanted to take the entry right here, this would be a breakout V3 and a breakout V3 continuation. Again, for me personally, it just doesn't fit my criteria. But it is an entry right there. So again, if you have your stop loss to move in profit, the 10-point mark is going to be around right here. Let's draw a line right there. The way that I set up my scalps, guys, is so typically I go for 60 points actually. And this is why I would have been like kind of not wanting to take it as well, because we have the sessions up here. We have the Asia high right here, the purple line, and we have the New York high here from yesterday as well, or from not yesterday because market was closed, the day before Christmas Eve. It's right here. So typically when I take a scalp, I take an entry like this. It's a 30 stop loss, 60 point TP. My trailing stops are set at two different price points. So when I do take a scalp, I have a trailing stop at 10 points, trailing stop at 30 points to give me a 1-to-1, and then my full target's gonna be around at 60. This is just so I can let the trade breathe a little bit. So typically, this is how my trades are usually set up, like this. I'm not in this position. I'm just marking it up for you guys. If you guys are looking to take that breakout V3, the reason why I wasn't really fond of this entry is because you can see price is still within the sideways market right here, right? Like I said, market's going sideways. I would be looking for the possible breakout. Or I'd be looking for the possible directional push. Right now, we just don't have that. If price was to break above here, and then we got the breakout V3 out here, then okay, I would take the entry, right? I just don't want to trade within this box here. Because you can see how price fakes out. Price pushes out, fakes out, pulls back in. Price pushes out right here, fakes out back in. Price push below right here, fake out right back up. You know, I've seen this pattern happen way too many times. I've been burned by this type of pattern too many times. That's why I don't trade a sideways market. I know some people do trade sideways markets, but it's just not for me. Like there could have been a lot of opportunities here to take trades if you just wanted to catch the rejections off the resistance. I mean, you could easily trade like a 15-point market, 15-point or even 30-point, right? Price bounces off, come in. Price bounces off, come in. Opposite direction right here as well. Price bounces off, come in for the buy. Like there's so many different ways to trade. This style of trading just doesn't fit me. Like this would just stress me out personally. I wouldn't like to trade this type of market because I'd always be worried that it's going to stop me out. Unless you're trading with something that's going to, unless you're trading something that's like with a super tight stop loss and a wider TP. Like I guess this could have been doable if you're doing like a 10-30, the opposite way, right? If your profit was 10 and your stop loss was 30, or your stop loss was 10 and your TP was 30. But then you'd get stopped out so often because it's so tight. Like you probably would have gone stopped out right here. You would have been okay right here. You probably would have gotten stopped out right here too. So that's why I don't trade a sideways market, because it's just too tight. Sometimes you're going to get caught in these little spikes and you'll get stopped out before you get to your TP. So let's see. Billy's asking, do I think it's going to come back down? Let's take a look at the overall bias for today. So looking over here at the 4-hour, price is currently neutral. It's not bearish anymore. It was bearish for like the past couple days, almost couple weeks since December. 6, price was swinging bearish on the 4-hour time frame. The 1 hour over here is bullish. You can see price is above the pivots. 30-minute over here, price is also above the pivots. 1 minute here, price is above the pivots. 5-minute above the pivots. 10-minute above the pivots. So no, I don't think price is going to come back down. It might come down a little bit, so maybe it'll come back down to, or it might retrace back down, but I don't think the overall direction is going to be bearish because all the time frames here are bullish right now. The 4 hours neutral, trying to switch up to bullish. 1 hour is bullish, 30 minutes bullish, 10 minutes bullish, 5 minutes bullish, 1 minute bullish. Everything here is bullish, so except for the 4 hour. So I don't think price is really going to come down. I don't know, depending on how far down you're expecting it to come down. If you have a specific price, I mean, we could take a look at that. But looking at all the time frames over here, it looks like price is trying to be bullish. So I think price is going to be bullish, or it's going to try to be bullish by the end of the year, right? You guys have heard of the Santa rally. The Santa rally is still rallying, so it's trying to push back up. I mean, yeah, I can see price maybe come down a little bit, but I don't think it's going to come back below this low right here. So 43,440, or yeah, that's pretty low. So there's a couple price points right here. Here, I'll draw a couple lines. So the lowest I think price will come down to would be maybe this low right here at 43,440. This is probably the lowest I'll see it go. If price comes below this price point, then there's going to be a possible reversal to the downside. But I don't, if it doesn't come down to this point, then it's probably going to stay up. I think price is going to maybe consolidate a little bit, but continue pushing to the upside. If price does break below here, then the target is going to be way down here. 43,245. I don't think there's enough to happen from now until New Year's Day. We have like about 3 days until New Year's, so I don't think this is going to happen. I think price will either just stay above this 43,440 price, and it's either going to consolidate and range around this area and maybe push it up higher, but I don't think price is going to come down, below this area. At least not by the end of the year. That's a pretty far push to the downside. So Billy's looking for 43,197. No, yeah, that's where I marked up, so I don't think that's going to happen. 43,197, that's a pretty big push. That's a 300-point drop. Like, something's got to happen to have price to drop that low. There's no news happening from now until New Year's. I mean, nothing big enough to push price that heavy. We have goods trades balance, but that doesn't push price very much. Yeah, you got 3 days. I don't think there's price going to drop down that heavy. I think the price will stay above the 43,440. Like, if there was like interest rate news or some sort of inflation news or some kind of news that will really push price, then maybe, but there's no news from now until then. Right, Monday is New Year's Eve, so if anything, price is going to stay up. It'll stay up or it'll stay flat. So yeah, personally, I don't think price is going to drop that low. Like, if you're looking for, here, let me see. You want price to come down to 197. That's a pretty big drop. 197. Okay, so that's a 396-point move. If you're trading in indices, that's a 3,000 pip move. That's a pretty far move to the downside. Yeah, personally, I don't think that's going to happen. It doesn't mean it can't happen, but for me, I just don't think that's going to happen. Everything kind of points towards the upside. If you look at the time frames here, like if these were all bearish, then okay, maybe that might happen, right? If the 30-minute was bearish, 1 hour is bearish, 4 hours bearish, possibly, and come down to that lower price point. But I mean, it's just not looking like it, because if you look over here at the overall trend, everything's trying to push up right now. So hopefully you don't have a sell position that you're trying to aim for down there. I mean, if you do, maybe it'll hit, maybe things will just swing your way. But for the most part, for me personally, just for my analysis, I don't think price is going to come down that far. Billy said, no, sorry, to at least where you first entered. Are you talking about the breakout price point? So this is at 43,492. Because your number was way off. Your number was 43,197. That was like 300-point move. If you're talking about this price right here, then possibly could come down because the opening price is right here. It's at 43,492, right? That's the opening price. So yeah, I mean, there's a possibility price can come down to there because that's not very far. It's like less than 100 points. So if you're talking about opening price right here, this blue line, yeah, price can easily come down to that point. I don't think it's going to come down like 300, 400 points, but yeah, so you can see over here, see how it acts like a magnet? Price pushed up right here and it came back down, bounced off the opening price, and then it shot right back up. Um, right here, price is literally going sideways. So after this sideways push right here, one thing is going to happen or the other. So price is going to break out or it's going to go directional. Whether it go to the upside or whether it goes to the downside, it'll probably push like another 100 points or so from now until market close, or maybe 50 points, 50, 200 points around there. But yeah, if you're looking for price to come back down to open right here, we call this back to open. It's a 97-point move. This could easily happen. All right, let me clean this up. There's no positions here for me to take. As you guys can see, price is just going sideways. It's just, it's one of those days. One of those days where price just goes sideways. You know what I'm going to do here as well is I'm going to I'll take a screenshot of all my accounts real quick. And this is just for a lot of accountability, right? Because I'm trying to prevent myself from trading on tilt or taking dumb trades. In order for me to be accountable, I'm just going to take screenshots of all my accounts every day, whether I take a trade or not. I mean, this is the only way I can really stay on point with everything. Like lately, I feel like I've been getting kind of lazy. Sorry, you guys are hearing that's my Ninja Trader logging into all of the hedge accounts. That's about it. Yeah, so what I'm doing here is I'm just like, it doesn't matter how long you guys have been trading. Accountability with trading is like, it never gets any better. Honestly, it gets a little easier, but it never gets any better. There's going to be some times where you kind of just want to YOLO into a trade, right? And you just got to remind yourself, like, that's not the game plan. That's not the trading plan. So what I've been doing lately, and you guys maybe have noticed it because I posted it yesterday in the Discord. I just didn't tag everyone. I post my stats pretty much every day, whether I take a trade or not. Because and this is something that you guys should do too. Because if you guys have trouble with being consistent, again, like me, I'm pretty consistent, but if I start to feel the itch to take bad trades, then I need something to keep me in line and to keep me focused. So if you're not sharing your P&L every day, you don't have to share with everybody, but if you're not taking a screenshot of every day, it's going to be really easy for you to take a FOMO move and just blow your account, or not blow your account, but like blow a lot of your profits, right? So yesterday, or not yesterday, the day before yesterday was Christmas Eve. I didn't take any trades that day, but you can see over here, I posted my stats because I showed everybody and I showed myself that, okay, I didn't take any trades today. That's a good day because I didn't take any losses, right? This is on Christmas Eve. I said no trades for today, Christmas Eve trading day, accounts flat for the day, but positive for the week. So my main goal every week is to have green profits right here on the weekly, right? That's where I want to be at the end of every week. If you guys can do that and you guys can close out your days in positive every single week, you're going to be profitable. It's inevitable, right? That's just how it is. So again, today I didn't take any trades on the hedge accounts. These are all the hedge accounts right here that are currently active. These are my weekly P&L. This is the sim account that I took the trade on. And then this is another hedge account that just got added recently. This just reminds me that, okay, I didn't take any trades today. I didn't take any losses. That's perfect. Today's a winning day for me. And then at the end of today as well, I'll also take a screenshot of my scalp accounts to show that I haven't taken any trades. So if you guys have problems with accountability, if you have problems with just staying in profit, because this is what happens with a lot of people. I see a lot of people make a lot of profits at the beginning of the week, right? So like Monday, Tuesday, they make a pretty good amount of profit. And then everything starts to go downhill from there. On Wednesday, they take a FOMO trade and then they lose a trade. But then what happens is that they don't really come to the realization that they took the trade, right? And I'm sure this has happened to a lot of you guys before. A lot of you guys have taken a trade and then you just kind of brush it off. You're like, okay, whatever. But then now your accounts are negative and you can't come to the realization. So what happens is you take another FOMO trade and then you take another FOMO trade the next day because you're trying to make that loss back, right? You're trying to make it right back before the week ends. And then you end up with a blown account. And I think that's like one of the biggest problems with a lot of people. We're going to cover that on the next mentoring session. We're going to cover trade psychology, risk management, and then also like trading like a business. Because I feel like that's the biggest thing for a lot of people. If you guys can really get down your trade psychology and your risk management, and it doesn't matter if you want to take scalps or if you want to take breakouts. One of the big things that a lot of people like to argue is like having a crazy risk reward, right? Like for me, typically I'm taking like a 1-to-1 or I'm taking even a negative because I have my trailing stop in place, right? But I have a very high win rate. So my high win rate is like about like 90% or so. It's around like 70 to 90%, depending on which strategies we're taking into account. So if you have a negative risk reward, it's okay to have that if you have a high win rate and if you're able to stick to your game plan. If you tend to lose a lot of trades, then obviously it's better to take a positive risk reward, right? But here's the thing: if you guys do the math, like if you guys, what I would recommend is whatever strategy you guys are doing, test it with a positive risk reward, test it with a 1-to-1, and then test it with a negative. And I'm sure that if you guys do that, you guys will see that for the most part, your strategies will typically line up to be about the same. Like your profits will end up being around the same. Because when you're trading with a smaller risk reward, you're going to have more wins and you're going to have less losses. If you trade a 1-to-1, you'll probably have like more of a balanced win or losses. And if you trade a negative risk reward, you're probably going to have a lot of losses, but a couple wins. Either way, at the end of the month, if you backtest any strategy, you'll see that it'll end up being balanced. And that's how you figure out what your risk reward will be. That's why for the breakout, I trade a positive risk reward, but have a trailing stop because right now the market's going choppy. For the scalps over here, I have a positive risk reward as well, but I have my trailing stop set up. So this is my typical scalp entry. It'll be like that where it's set up, but then I have my trailing stop at the 10, 30, and then I have a full TP at the 60. Because I try to give myself the ability to get stopped out in profit, but also reach for the full TP. So, it's something that you guys should probably go back and test if you guys have trouble being consistent. And you just got to be real with yourself. I mean, you can post it here in team profits. I know some people don't like posting losses here because they just feel ashamed or they feel, they don't want to be, like looked at differently. But for the most part, even if you don't have any trades, it'd be okay to just post your screenshot there like I did and just say, okay, I didn't take any trades for the day, because that'll keep you accountable and it'll force you to not want to take bad trades. Because right now, this type of market that we're currently in, this is a bad market to me. Market's going sideways right here. It still hasn't broken out. Let's go back to our clean chart. See how price hasn't really gone anywhere yet? It's still faking out, but it's not really going anywhere. So that's why I'm not taking any trades here. I'm being very disciplined, very consistent with my trading. This doesn't fall within my trading plan. So I don't take any sideways entries. I look for directional pushes. And because there's no directional push here, I'm just kind of sitting tight and waiting for this here to move out of the area. It's 7:41 now, so it's pretty much past my trading time for the most part. Usually around 7:30, the market gets really flat. And at this point, I'm usually done trading for the day. Price is starting to break out of this area. So see how price was consolidating and now it's pushing directional. We may start to get a directional push to the downside here. Possibly. I don't think it's enough time for me to take any entries though, because I would need price to push down, retrace up, come back lower. And then when that happens, we have all the red flags right here. We have the sessions right here, London high. We have the Asia low right here. We have opening price right here. It's going to be tough to take some entries around these points. So we'll keep looking here, but again, this is kind of what I expected for the day after Christmas. The ATR is at 10 right now, guys. I really don't recommend you guys take any trades right now. The ATR is super, super low. I As you guys know, if it goes below 15, it usually is not a good time to trade. If you guys are not familiar with ATR, ATR is the average true range. So with this right here, I have the average true range set to the past 7 candles, I believe. Yeah. So the past 7 candles, the average of each candle is about 12 points. So that means that there's not very much movement here. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, this is not really a good time to trade. For one, the volatility is extremely low. It's not where it should be for a typical New York session open. And then second, there's just a bunch of red flags around this area. And then third, looks like price might just fake out and pull back into the range. See how the fake out's happening down here? So let's just take this box off. This is the consolidation area. So this was a consolidation little box right here. But the actual range is this whole price point right here between the 600 and the 550 mark. So you guys can see how the fake outs happen right there. Fake out at the whole number, fake out the whole number, another fake out the whole number, correction back into the consolidation range. So I wouldn't be surprised if this fakes out, pulls back into the range right there. Either way, it's still within range. All right, so I'm not really looking at taking scalps here. I mean, if I see something good, then I mean, it can't even be good. It has to be great. Like I have to see a great entry. Something has to look really good in order for me to take something here. Like I would need price to push above here and then climb up higher, or I need price to break below here and climb down lower. I'm not going to take any trades within this middle area right here. And you guys can see price has pretty much been ranging within this area since 7 o'clock. So again, this is why my cutoff for entries is between 640 and 7 if I'm taking like my sweet zone scalps. So basically this is like where my edge is typically at between 640 and 7. You can see price went sideways, but there was volatility right there. Like if I wanted to take a trade right here, there could be a possible entry right there for the drop. But between 7 and 8 here, take this line off, you can see here that price is literally going nowhere. Staying right there down the middle. All right, 7:45 today so far. So for today, guys, if you guys are just joining or if you guys want a recap of what we took, I only took one trade, which is the breakout. That's all I took for today. I was hoping to take at least one scalp today, but I'm not going to force anything. Like I said, I took one trade for the week already. Like I really have to just take one trade for the week on my scalp account. So here are that's my hedge accounts and my personal account. Let me take a screenshot of my prop accounts. And like I said, I'll just post this again in here so that you guys can see. And this is just for accountability. Again, this is a reminder to me that I didn't take any losses today, so I'm good. And I took that one trade for the week. So, my prop accounts are okay. That's like the downside. Once you get funded on these accounts, the rules, they get a little strict with regard to like, and you got to remember the rules or else they'll like, they're going to find a way to kick you out. So here are my accounts so far, pretty much all my accounts. So these are my personal and hedge accounts. Just took one trade at the breakout. And here are my scalp accounts. Didn't take anything for today. Still have some net profit for the week, but for the most part, nothing's been taken overall. So we'll keep looking here. We got about like 13 minutes till 8, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to pop into the chat. Otherwise, there's just not really much here to take. I was really looking for some V1 variations because even during a sideways market, these V1 variations do play very nicely. There's a V1 pattern right here. Obviously I wouldn't have taken it, but there's a V1 pattern right there, a double body rejection. If this bounced off the structure, it would have been more ideal for me to want to take because the trend here was still kind of bullish. The only problem here is that we were right at the session. So we have price over here at the sessions. If I wanted to take this here, so I'll just replay to this point to show you the setup. Okay, so price was below. The trend here wasn't really confirmed to switch down to the bottom end yet. You can see trend was bullish. It went into neutral right here. V1 variation, double body rejection. So you can see the bodies are on the same level. There's a pending buy signal. This here would be a setup for a V1 variation entry. I mean, obviously, like I said, I wouldn't take it because there's a sessions right here. In order for me to hit my TP, I would have to get past the sessions, right? Which is that red line. So price here would have pushed up and pushed right through right there. If you wanted to go for the full 60 points, looks like it's still currently running. But I wouldn't have taken the trade here. Like I'm being as conservative as possible, especially as we're getting closer to the end of the year. Because I don't want to screw up and then end up with a red week to end the year. So I'm taking it very, very conservatively until we get to like a better point. Looks like price finally broke out of that 600 mark. Well, we are getting late into the session, so I don't think I'll be taking anything here. I mean, I'll look. If it looks good, then I'll take it. But I mean, we're probably not going to get something here. The only setup that I can probably look for, there was a breakout V3 continuation that came up right here. I don't know if anybody decided to take that. Again, it was touching the sessions, which is the red line right here, so I wouldn't have taken it. But this here was a breakout V3 continuation. Buy signal, green candle right here. Went for a 1-to-1 right there. It's still currently pushing for the 60 points. But I personally wouldn't have taken it. It was within the range. So if you look over here, see where the entry happened? It happened within the range right here. Price is finally breaking out of this area though. There's a high-low scalp that came up right there as well. There's a lot of entries that are starting to line up right after each other. I'm not going to get any FOMO here though. I'm going to just kind of identify them. So we had a couple high-low scalps that came up right here, but they were within the range. Like I said before, I'm not trying to trade within the range here. Yeah, so price broke above right there, broke above right there. There's a couple high-low scalps. This is the high point of the range though. This higher high. Let's go back over here real quick. So let me just turn the indicators on over here on the clean chart. So the breakout V3 continuation happened within the range. I wouldn't have taken the trade there because it was just within the range. I was looking for price to break out of this area. There's a high-low scalp that came up right here. First one, second one came up right here. Third one came up right here. So yeah, that breakout V3 continuation is still running through right now with the 60 points. Not in it, but I explained to you guys why I wouldn't have taken this specific trade, mainly because of the sessions right here. So first, here, I'll just put reasons why. Entry touching London high. 2, price, then the 600, 550 range. So these are the main reasons why I would have skipped the entry right here. There's a breakout V3 continuation. Main one, of course, number one would be entry was touching the London high, which is this red line right here. It was within the 650 or the 600 to 550 range, this big range right here. And it was also within the heavy consolidation. So the entry happened down here. I'll just mark it up for you guys so you guys can see it. Yeah, so the entry happened right here. And there's just a lot of reasons for me not to take the trade right there. So sometimes it's not really about like looking for the entry. It's more so understanding when not to take the entry, right? Because you'll see when I take trades, there's a lot of trades that will come up and I just don't take them because I don't feel comfortable with them not fitting within my criteria. But you'll see that I avoid a lot of bad losses too. So not only do I miss good trades on purpose, I also miss bad trades on purpose as well. Because I have a trading plan in place. I don't trade at red flags. I don't trade within the range. I don't trade within consolidation. I trade outside of the area. So if we do get another entry outside this point, then I'd possibly be looking for entry. The only entry that I can possibly look for here, though, is going to be a V1 variation because everything here is already kind of played through, right? Another thing that I could maybe look for is a market flow V2. But if we do get a market flow V2, it's probably going to be within the range or the consolidation, which price is currently going sideways right now. Let's see, Ross said for some reason my sessions are not the same as yours. What I would recommend, Ross, is probably close out your sessions and then just reopen them. So like just exit it out, go to your indicators, and then go back to your sessions and put them back on. Where's your price at? I'm just kind of curious where your price is at. Let me just reopen mine too. Go to the session high lows. I'm gonna turn this one off. Huh. Looks like the London high is not in the proper place, right? So let me take this off. So the Asia low is where it should be. Let me check the settings here. So 3 to 12. Oh, because I changed the time for daylight savings. I might have to fix this. So I have it set to 2 to 11. It was because we were at daylight savings before, and we're no longer in daylight savings, so we'll fall back. That's why, Ross. Yeah, so I think I changed them for daylight savings. The problem with this here is that it doesn't set to daylight savings time. It just sets to like regular time. So I think this might be, I don't know, I got to go back and check it. But yeah, that's why the sessions are like slightly different. Because this right here, so yeah, I basically just moved the hour. I moved the time an hour behind. This is 3 to 12, and this was 2 to 11. I'll have to fix that a little later. I'll go back and check the times. It's because the time zones are like slightly different as well for the London session. But yeah, I think that's the main difference of why it's not on there. Because if you change this here to 2 and 11, then they come up right there. Yeah, I'll have to check it. It's only off by an hour though, so it doesn't really make a big difference. But I mean, you wouldn't have the sessions right there if that was the case. And if that was the case there, then this actually would have been a pretty good entry. Because we wouldn't have there'd be no red flag there. Okay, there's a possible breakout or sorry, not breakout. There's a V2 variation setting up right here, guys. I'm gonna hold off on this. I just don't feel comfortable taking any trades. It's too late in the session. It's 7:56 right now. The thing is, I don't want to be holding on to this outside 8 o'clock. So I'll just mark it up for you guys here. This is a V2 variation. So we have two red candles right here, red candle, there's a low, and it's followed by a green candle. So this is a V2 variation. Typically, if I was to take this trade, my trailing stop would be set at the 10 right here. And then the next trailing stop would be at the 30. And then the full move would be at the 60. So 10 points already got pushed right there. I'll have to make another video on the V2 variation because I don't think the one that there isn't even one on the website right now. It's so old. But yeah, so like I said, my main focus that I've been focusing on lately are like the V1 variations off structure. This is a V2 variation off structure. Already got to the 10 points there. So if your trailing stop moved up to 10 points, you have gone pulled out already in profit. Yeah, this is the setup right here. So we'll keep looking at these as we move forward. I'm currently like more focused on like the variation entries. Market flow V2s are good too, but I just haven't really been looking at them. There's a market flow V2 that also came up right here as well at the 600 mark. So the entry for the market flow V2 is actually at the same price of the V2 variation right here. But again, if you're looking for this, the V2 variation is basically a 3-bar reversal. So see how the 3-bar reversal comes up right here? We have a red candle with a low, and then a green candle after it. This is a 3-bar reversal. It's like a curve pattern. It's a reversal pattern that looks like a curve like that. So price started from up here. And see how it curves down and it shoots right back up. That is a V2 variation. So these are probably gonna be the main strategies I'll be looking at. Typically, I'm only looking for like 2 types of scalps at a time. Just because it's too hard to follow too many entries at once. Like the market flow V2 is a good entry, but we just don't have market flow right now. So I'm not really looking at those. I'll mainly be looking for the V1 variations, possibly breakout V3 continuations like we had over here. But again, those are like very directional strategies. Since we're like in this choppy market, sort of, these V1 variations and V2 variations are probably going to be your best bet. V3 variations are going to work too. If you wanted to apply a V3 variation, this is also the same entry for V3. The only thing with the V3 is that it's a 2-bar reversal, not a 3-bar. A 3-bar is going to be a lot more ideal. Red candle, green candle, 3-bar reversal. V3 is going to be a 2-bar reversal. Low with the red candle, followed by a green candle. But the setup here was nice. We had a pending, so this also set up with the pending momentum too. We had price come down, pending buy signal, price pushed up, buy signal came up, and now it's pushing up higher. And then also there is a breakout V3 continuation that's also running right here as well. So we have a lot of entries that are just kind of overlapping with each other. We have the breakout V3 continuation that's running from over here. This still hasn't hit the full 60 points. We also had a high-low scalp that came up right here. It still hasn't hit the full move. And then another high-low scalp that came up right here also hasn't hit the full move. So there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 entries running back to back for a bullish push. But it is 8 o'clock now, guys. So, all right, guys, it's 8 o'clock now. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to reach out on Discord. 8 o'clock is my official cutoff time for the live session. Usually my entries are cut off around 7:30 because this is where the volatility dies down. And then even earlier than that, I usually stop trading around 7 o'clock if I don't have anything between 6. If I get something between 6:40 and 7, I'm usually done by 7. If I don't get anything between 6:40 and 7:30, then I'm usually done as well. But you can see the differences in market structure here. So let me just mark up a couple of things here to show you guys real quick. So market opened up at 6:30. Price went sideways. Usually 7 o'clock market goes even more sideways. So 6:30 to 7, there's some volatility right here. Then from 7 o'clock until 7:30, market went very flat right here. And then it started to pick up a little bit. Usually it just stays flat right here, but it started to pick up a little bit because it's been flat for the most of the day. So it's flat right here between 7 to 7:30. Some manipulation, but big range right here between 6:30 to 7. And then right here between 7:30 and 8. I try to keep things time-based so that you guys can see. Usually it's pretty flat throughout this entire time. But because it was so flat right here between 7 to 7:30, it started to pick up right here. And now it's starting to go flat again. So it's all good. This is the first day back from Christmas break, so I wasn't really expecting too much to happen here. Market was what we kind of planned for, so it's all good. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up for the day. There's no entries taken on my end for the scalps. The only trade I took today was the breakout right here. I took it for a partial at the halfway mark, 50 points, locking 1,620. But that's about it for the day. So we'll come back tomorrow fresh, guys. If you guys have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, one thing that I'm going to try to do before the live session opens is I will post an analysis of my overall bias for the trend for like different assets. I'll do that right now, actually, since a lot of people have been asking for that. So I'll look at like the main assets that people look at. So first we'll do like YM over here. Bullish, 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 pretty much all bullish. So I'll do this. So I'll put the chart right there. I'll say today's overall bias for YM is bullish. And I'll just put this here. Lower time frames. Bullish trend. I'll just put this here so that you guys can, I know some people have been asking for this just because they trade different things. And obviously, I don't mind doing this. So 30-minute. And I'll just post something like that. If you guys want to look there, I'll have a screenshot of like how everything's looking. So there's like a couple main ones here. So YM, ES, same thing for ES2. That's why it's not really too difficult for me to do it because they kind of line up with each other. I'll try to do this before market open. If you guys want to take a look at it, and I'll just tag this for everyone too, so people can kind of see. Because I know a lot of you guys trade other things, not just YM. And this will just give you guys an idea of like what to look for the day. There's only 4 main ones. It's like YM, ES, NQ, and GC, which is gold. So if you guys are ever curious, just look on here at trade questions, and then I will post this up here for you guys to see. Everything here is bullish too. NQ, bullish, 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 bullish. Everything's pretty much bullish for today, it looks like. And I think these are like the main assets that people trade anyways. Even though I don't trade them, I can analyze any chart. It doesn't really matter. Same with gold. The analysis, it translates. It's not like anything different. All right, so there we go. I have the analysis for pretty much, and I'm gonna try to do this every morning before I go live so that you guys can have an idea when you guys start trading. So YM right there, bullish, ES, bullish, NQ, bullish, gold, bullish. It's bearish now, but I mean, it's still bullish long term. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow for the